Ready, set, go.
Hello, welcome to an album reaction. That's what we're doing here. Welcome back. If you've been here before, I have no way of knowing this. I've never covered this artist on the channel yet, but here we are. So if you're new to the channel and you're finding me through this particular album reaction, hello, welcome. Glad you're here. Stick around. It'd be great to have you. If you're a returning customer, welcome back. Good to see you. Today, we're listening to Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally by Mr. Harry Styles. I've been listening to Harry's stuff for a little bit now, in varying degrees. I was really impressed by his debut album, like his first solo album. I was delighted by the fact that he sort of introduced his solo career with this very fun album based around this sort of like 70s and 80s rock and a little bit of like folk. Very much not what I was expecting from him, considering he, the only thing we knew about him at the time was, his work with One Direction. And since then, I do feel like he's drifted a little bit back in the pop direction. He's still doing some very like retro 80s and 70s inspired sounds, which is great. I like that. I think it works really nicely with his sort of melodic choices. But I think the debut album is still my favorite. I liked Fine Line. Fine Line, I think, is my second favorite. Harry's House was fine. Harry's House, I thought, had a couple of bangers on it, but haven't really gone back to it all that much. Now, the fact that this album has the word disco in it is kind of promising. I enjoy disco as a genre. I think some of my favorite sort of musical tropes and choices can often be found in disco music. Your bass walk-ups and your off-time drum beats and such. It's so much fun to play. And so I'm excited to see what Harry occasionally does with disco. We're only doing disco occasionally. The rest of the time, we're kissing. Or sometimes kissing at the same time as disco. That's possible. We've got 12 tracks. Clocking in at 43 minutes. So pretty standard. No interlude tracks as far as I can tell. Everything ranges from around 2.5 to the first track is just slightly over 5 minutes. So that's the kind of range, but most of this is working around the 2.5 to 4 minute range. So, nothing too crazy as far as sort of format goes. But we'll see if Harry has been getting into some interesting inspirations once we get into it. I did a little reading on Apple Music about sort of Harry's approach to this album. On the cusp of turning 30, which I also did this past spring, he felt the urge to reassess his relationship with his career. Turning 30 is a good excuse to do that. He says, "It was just a time for me to look at the way I'd done everything. I think it's a good thing to have moments where you've done something for a long time to kind of stop and check in with yourself. Do I do this because this is what I've been doing for a long time? Or do I do this because I really love it?" I agree. I do. I think I've been doing a little bit of that this year as well, including with these album reactions themselves. But I'll get into that later on. And then it says, rather than speeding straight into a new record, the singer decamped to Italy, where he cooked lavish meals, lingered at coffee shops, and took up long-distance running. Later, he spent time in Berlin, where he ran his first marathon, often listening to his new demos as he trained. Those demos would evolve into the 12 tracks of Styles' fourth solo album, Kiss All the Time Disco Occasionally, inspired by his slower, more spontaneous way of living, which included concerts, new friends, and lots of dancing. What music do I have to make for me to be on stage feeling like I'm in the middle of the dance floor? He asked himself, which explains the funky bass lines and subtle four-on-the-floor beats that I'm assuming we're about to hear. So, looking forward to feeling like I'm in the middle of the dance floor. It's not usually a place that I look forward to being in, but I'm fine with feeling like I am while sitting very comfortably in my room. So, without further ado, let's get into the first track titled Aperture, which, if you're not familiar, is the term for the sort of opening mechanism of a camera lens, and is also the name of the research facility company in Portal. So, now you know. Let's listen to Aperture, 5 minutes and 11 seconds. Okay. Alright, I feel the pulse of it already. I like when they have the kick drum just be the cutting out of the synth. Ooh. Alright. Alright. We're layering stuff. We're layering. Oh. Ooh. Okay, yes, very much a club beat. I like those extra kick hits. Very good. There he is. Oh, wow. Drinks go straight to my knees. Oh. I'm going on clean. Ooh. The kick is almost like I'm going on clean. They've added a very specific note, the pulse of the synth. Oh, hi. It's almost like Big Crushed. This is giving me a feeling of between Harry's vocals being very subdued, kind of melancholy, almost apathetic. Very highly produced club beat with the synthesizers sort of changing shape as we go. I do get the feeling of just sort of we're not on the dance floor yet, maybe, or maybe we are already on the dance floor, but we've kind of zoned out. Internally we're working at a very different wavelength than the music is. It's a cool trick that he's putting in here. It gets me very much in the space. That's crispy. It does. That's what it's for. Okay. And now his voice is part of this, the layers of synth. That's cool. Is that a guitar? Okay. That's a nice little drop back here. Oh, this is a fun beat. Nice little piano in there. Okay, well, we still got 30 seconds left to maybe just vibe back into the pulsing the way we began. It's a loop. We've come full circle. Very nice. That was fun. Very interesting texture to introduce the album on. What's Harry got to say? I think the song was the last song that was made for the album. Oh, interesting. Last song that you made for the album is the one that you put first in the track listing. So it kind of ended up being this really perfect like mission statement of what a lot of the album was about. I think the opening and kind of allowing for more things, and in turn allowing for more like positive things to come into your life. It's a lot about what this song and this album as a whole was about for me. And also the kind of openness to like be accepting of like transitions and be accepting of flaws and your own mistakes, and being able to look at those things and go like, I was wrong there, or I didn't behave, in line with who I want to be there. And being able to like acknowledge those things and therefore go through a change and make some changes you want to make is like more powerful than kind of denying them or, refusing to like change it all. It can get a little muddled because this is pretty clearly like transcribed directly from when he was talking about it on BBC Radio. But I guess what we've now been told is what this album is about, is sort of, widening your horizons, expanding your world and your world of possibilities in order to allow a wider variety of joyful experiences. And in this case, that becomes the metaphor of the aperture, this mechanism that allows more or less light in as you open it or close it, letting himself expand his aperture to allow more light in and allow more of the world into his life, into his worldview and perspective, you might say, which is very cool. I like that metaphor. Verse 1, take no prisoners from me. I'm told you're elevating. Drinks go straight to my knees. I'm sold. I'm going on clean. I'm going on clean. Then into verse 2, I've no more tricks up my sleeve. Game called, review the player. Time codes and Tokyo scenes. Bad boys, it's complicated. It's complicated. Then pre-chorus, it's best you know what you don't. Aperture lets the light in. That repeats into the chorus. We belong together. It finally appears. It's only love. We belong together. And then that repeats as well. Yeah, just sort of allowing Harry Styles allowing himself to kind of be in a place where he's not really in his prime element. He's away from home. He's in a place that he's not familiar with. He doesn't really have necessarily as many connections. So, okay, yeah, take no prisoners for me, as in like there's no holding back. There's no sort of hesitation going here. Wherever I'm going in order to be there. I'm not going to go there and then think about being somewhere else. I'm committing to wherever I'm going. So I think the drinks go straight to my knees, and followed by I'm sold, I'm going on clean, is maybe just his way of being like, I'm here to have a good time. I'm not going to worry about any inhibitions, really. I'm going to be welcoming. I'm going to be open to whatever the future has going on for me. I'm sold. I'm going on clean, as in clean slate. Not going to worry about where I came from. I'm worrying about where I am and what's happening next or right now. Very classic pop trope, lyrics being about living in the moment. Nothing wrong with a trope, but it more has to do with what you're doing with it. We're centering it around the metaphor of the aperture, of like going on clean, taking no prisoners. These are all ways of also getting back to I'm letting the light in. I am here and I'm opening up my aperture. I'm sort of humbling myself as well. No more tricks up my sleeve is kind of what that refers to. Time codes and Tokyo scenes, bad boys, it's complicated. It's complicated. You know, he's allowing himself to be a little confused, a little overwhelmed, but not to run away from that. It's okay that it's complicated. That doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means you gotta like stick around a little bit and learn some things. The bridge also puts it nicely. I won't stray from it. I don't know these spaces. Time won't wait on me. I want to know what safe is. I'm here. I don't really know what I'm doing around here. I don't know these spaces, but time's not going to wait for me to figure it out. Life is not going to wait for me to be like, hang on, I need to know exactly how everything works all the time so that I don't screw anything up. Time is not going to wait for you to know how to not screw everything up. So you just kind of lock in and let yourself mess up maybe once or twice. And that is how you know what safe is once you have found a space where you can take some risks and have those risks be met with sort of an open mind or accommodation or welcoming or understanding. That's how you know what safe is. I feel like with Harry Styles' music, he can have varying levels of like depth to his lyrics. I think he knows what songs he can put a little bit more complexity into his lyrics, and other songs where you can kind of let it just be a good time, have a single concept to write around, but not have that concept be particularly profound. And I think that's kind of what we're working with here. So I think I've said what's there to be said. Let's keep moving to track numero dos. American Girls. Harry himself is not an American boy, so I wonder what this Englishman has to say about American Girls. I'm curious as to what he's got to say about American Girls, you know, myself being a non-American boy myself. Let's see what he's got to say. He's an interesting... Okay. Ooh. Oh, okay. Ooh. A little bit of a hot... That's just a piano in a room. Ooh, okay. What's that sound? What was that? Ooh, bass. Ooh, that's a steady bass line. Ooh. Ooh, very spacey. I like that hi-hat rhythm. Little accents with the open hi-hat, very nice. Ooh, they're tightened up on the bass, that's nice. Oh, that's tight. Okay. Ooh. Bass has gotten a little farty. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Are they? All of your friends? Alright, we're keeping the thick bass now. A little bit of a bass synth in there as well. Wait. Nice, I like that little fill there. Ooh, that's quite nice. Alright. Some MIDI drums. Oh, real drums. I like keeping it steady. This is what I'm talking about when I say that he's maintained in this case, 80s inspiration that he kind of started his solo career with, but has drifted sort of back into the pop world. And I don't have a problem with it, but there's so many elements of this song specifically that are more in service of that like genre homage and that sort of loyalty to that more retro sound than you might hear in your more modern pop music. Like that really high pitch synth, the like really thick, crunchy, like blown out bass guitar. It's lovely. It's very good ear feel, and it is reflective of Harry's inspirations on his music that he's had since the start. He's been seeing it for, oh geez, Cranko, I can't, okay, there we go. I wasn't ready. Cranko, I placed her on my bed, and then she walked onto my lap, and then I was petting her, and then she walked off of my lap without having sat down at all, and now she's sitting, giving me kind of like cold shoulder. My goodness, what a strange animal. All right, American Girls, that was a freaking bop. Gosh dang bop is what that was. The song, as Styles is speaking on his personal experience of being a global phenomenon, describing how no matter where he travels from city to city, his friends are drawn to American Girls. That is an interesting phenomenon. Personally, I don't know if I find myself drawn to specifically American Girls. I'm, not to say that it's a deal breaker if you're American, but it's not exactly I don't consider it a negative or positive selling point in one direction or the other. But let's see what Harry actually thinks about this song. I think the song to me is actually quite a lonely song in a lot of ways. I watched my 3 closest friends get married, and actually seeing them trust in something and risk something to find something truly fulfilling in a way that isn't as like shiny and on paper as exciting as, watching them get married. I was like, I'm single, so I'm having all the fun. And American Girls is actually about watching them get married, and there's just a magic when you find the right person that you want to be with. But I think watching them do that and seeing that it doesn't come without any risk. Okay, a very, very classic thing that you experience in your 20s and into your 30s is your friends are getting hitched. You just got a bunch of friends that get married, maybe in quick succession, and that is an experience that kind of causes you to look kind of at your own life and be like, well, is that something I also want, or am I perfectly fine with the bachelor life? And if you are, great. And it seems like Harry has sort of reconciled that with himself of like, happy for my friends, but also him being like, I got the freedom of being a single man. Nice to see your friends find that special someone that hopefully they'll spend the rest of their life with. But it's also good to appreciate the benefits of, still being available. And sort of the freedom that does generally entail, assuming that you're, a person of the monogamous persuasion. Let's get into the lyrics here. Right at home, with perfect timing, a face that knows her perfect lighting, because time will show that you should try it. Those American girls you spend your life with. And to the chorus, I've known you for ages. It's all that I've heard. My friends are in love with American girls. I've seen it in stages all over the world. My friends are in love with American girls. The clarification of American girls implies that his friends are not American. Dude's seen it a lot. Fair enough. Verse 2, her sweet eyes, your temptations don't deny. Her frustrations, just spend your life with those American girls. So he's seeing these friends with their wives. This feels weirdly judgmental of the married friends. And I feel like it's because I think people often have a hard time walking that line between being happy for their friends and also being happy with yourself being in a different place than your friends that you are happy for. If there's any trace of insecurity that you might have in your life, it can be really easy to kind of project your own insecurities onto their life of being like, married life isn't all that good. You gotta be with this person forever. So, you gotta deal with her getting frustrated with you. You gotta spend your life with that. And I don't know if that's the way to read that verse, but that's kind of the way it strikes me. And I don't know how to feel about that. But musically, really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the feel of that song. Very, very steady beat. Really enjoyed the bass and the bass synth in there. Really, really good time. Let's keep going. I had a feeling I'm not going to be spending a lot of time on each song in this album, but again, he tends to put his more complex lyrics in his quieter songs. Maybe once we find one of those, then we'll have something to sink our teeth into. But for now, let's move on to track 3. Ready, steady, go. Okay, right now. What is that sound? That's funky. All right. Have we found the disco? Ooh, a little bit of sort of chiptune-y. All right. Ooh.
2 times is 1 too many.
Is it? Okay.
1, 2, 3 times you're on me, and suddenly ready, steady, go. You touch me goodnight.
That's what I'm talking about. We found the disco. Oh. Is that a guitar? It's either a guitar. I think that's a guitar, yeah. That's nice. That's pretty. Okay. Oh. That's crunchy. The fuzz on her voice, I love it. I really do think, and this is probably partially like a personal taste thing, but I do think the real measure of a pop artist these days is how willing to get weird they are and how well they know how to get weird. Especially in the 2020s, we've heard a lot of pop music. There's been a lot of pop music made that sounds a lot like other pop songs. And I think if you are a pop artist in the 2020s and you haven't tried to get a little weird with it, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. I realize that even in like the arts, like capitalism has seeped its little grubby claws into a lot of the arts, that people at the top become very risk averse because they're more worried about number go up than they are about actual creative expression. Which is not to say that you can never express yourself fully with a nice clean pop song. You know, if that's what's on your heart and that's exactly what you've got in mind, go with God. But I think every artist owes it to themselves to be able to, or to try and make music that does not have to appeal to the lowest common denominator. You know, music doesn't have to be for everyone. Sometimes you can make a song that gets, you know, widely appreciated, and that's great. But I don't think that you are doing yourself a favor by writing music for everyone. I think if you write music that you really like and that expresses exactly what you want to express, without worrying about what instruments or, you know, melodies people are going to find off-putting, I think that's really where you unlock your fullest potential. As soon as you are willing to get weird, and the people around you that are helping with production and distribution are going to let you get weird, that's where you're going to make your best material. Whether it ends up being weird or not is more about creating the space for true artistic freedom without worrying about record sales afterwards. That's my soapbox. Ready, steady, go. What? Fronty quasi? Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that's nasty. I love the descending little melody there. That's lovely. Hello. Piano. Oh. Okay. Bring it all together. Very nice. Oh. Harry, you're doing well. You're hitting some good feelings here. You're hitting some good song feel. I'm actually sad that that's one of the shortest songs on the album. I could have used more of that piano, more of that fuzzy voice. That was lovely. Let's see what we got here. The song captures the thrilling but unpredictable rush of a relationship moving faster than either person can fully process. Through images of late nights, impulsive decisions, and sudden intimacy, the lyrics portray the heady rush of attraction when emotions escalate before clarity or stability can develop. At the same time, the track subtly hints at an emotional imbalance between the two people involved, suggesting that it may not be built on equal footing. Title likely references Ready, Steady, Go, a British pop music TV show that aired from 1963 to 66 and helped define youth culture during the decade. Very interesting. Okay, that's a little bit of British media trivia for you all. So, relationship moving faster than you're ready for. Very, very normal thing for your 20s and also kind of your early 30s. One of my older friends mentioned to me that the 30s are kind of becoming the new 20s. And as someone that's only just started their 30s, I wasn't going to complain. I wasn't going to argue with him. Let's take a look at these lyrics and see how this quick little romance is ready, steady, going. Verse 1. One time was alright. 2 times, one too many. 1, 2, 3 times, you're on me, and suddenly, ready, steady, go. Verse 2, you touched me goodnight. Butterflied both our bellies. You and me are skipping sleep with dirty feet. Ready, steady, go. Then the chorus, but you call Leon. You call it only in my head, because you've got enough, while we two do too much. But you call Leon. Did you call it only in my head? Because you've got enough on your hands, while we are coming up. When you say call Leon, does that mean that they're calling someone else's name while they're in bed? Or maybe after, while they're just sort of hanging out, maybe she just calls another friend of hers, and he's getting insecure about that. Bro, let your partners have friends of the opposite sex. All right? If they end up cheating on you with their friends of the opposite sex, it doesn't mean that the practice in itself is a bad thing. It means that the person you're with is an asshole, can't keep it in their pants, and that's on them. But just because they're talking to a friend that happens to, like, if she's talking to Leon, that might be nothing. That might actually be nothing. All right? If you get in your head about someone that has a friend of the opposite sex, turns out the problem isn't the friend, it's you and your insecurities that you're projecting onto their friendships. I don't mean to pull out therapy speak on this album reaction, but it's something that drives me nuts when I hear about it in social media, people getting preachy about how it's impossible to have friendships like that. You can. You just gotta freaking have a sense of even a modicum of self-discipline. You just gotta be a decent person, you know? Verse 3, 1 time in the lights, 2 times is fun already, 1, 2, 3 times you're only playing with me, ready, steady, go. It's not that it's not built on equal footing. They're just, having a big old fling and things are moving pretty quick. But because this other person has called Leon, we're getting up in our head. And right up there with the line, did you call it only in my head? So it seems like Harry maybe has some stuff to work through. But also, the whole premise of the song is that things are happening so quickly that you can't really, you're not giving yourself time to actually be mature about it. It's just all like animalistic impulses and, pheromones and shit. There's no pre or post nut clarity going on here, which is a very, very key element of any healthy romantic or sexual relationship. So that's my thoughts on this one. Let's keep moving. Track number 4. Are you listening yet? Yeah, I'm 4 tracks in, dude. I've been listening. I've been listening and reading more closely than I think a lot of people will with this album. Nothing against the lyrics. The lyrics have been fine. But I just know that a lot of people, listen to music and don't necessarily do deep dives on the lyrics of every album they listen to. So yeah, Harry, I've been listening. Okay. This one also feels pretty up-tempo. Ooh, okay, we got the MIDI drums on this one. Does he? Okay. Oh. All right. Ooh, okay. Whoa. Yes.
It's like you're taking up arms, but the message is wet. It sounds
are we back in the?
You don't believe in it.
back in the rock vein here? Are we pulling out a little bit of rock and roll in this occasional disco album? I knew we were discoing occasionally. I didn't know we were rocking occasionally as well. I'm excited. That clap is also very disco. Ooh, I like that snare rhythm. Ooh, oh, that's fun.
You're smarter than that. This world is screaming, so you start to scream right back.
I don't know if I've ever heard Harry Styles do this sort of like speak singing deal that he's doing. My freaking sinuses today. I don't think I've heard this from Harry Styles yet. This is very exciting. This is a stylistic choice that I don't think he's picked up on yet. I love it. This is what I'm talking about. When you let yourself do things that you've never done before with your music, you make good music.
You must join the movement, make sure there's dancing.
That's a good line. Ooh, hello guitar. Ooh, the bend. That's lovely. Okay. I do love when Harry does the laws. Oh, and he's singing with the guitar. That's awesome.
Now you're all out of choices. Are you listening yet? Between your head and heart and something else instead. Or can you hear the voice, the one inside your head?
Oh,
are you listening
that's such a jam.
Oh, are you listening yet? Oh, are you listening yet? Oh, are you listening?
Not only am I listening yet, I've been playing along, but okay. Harry, you're giving me a new favorite album. I'm enjoying this thoroughly. We're 4 tracks in, and I haven't stopped bopping. I've been having a good time the whole time. Are you listening yet? The song explores self-awareness and the importance of listening to one's inner voice. Oh. Throughout the track, Harry returns to the titular question as a form of self-reflection, confronting the patterns and habits people often recognize yet choose to ignore. Okay, so when he's asking, are you listening yet? He's asking me if I'm listening to myself yet. He's also asking himself if he's listening yet. And so he's asking me if he's listening to him listening to himself, while he's asking me to listen to myself as to whether myself is listening to him. If that makes sense. Styles explained that this was one of the earliest songs written for the album. He said it came from a moment in which he began noticing recurring situations in his life that he could no longer overlook. In this sense, the question, are you listening yet, works both as a challenge and as a reminder to accept personal responsibility and emotional truth. I like that. A reminder to accept personal responsibility. Are you listening yet? That's very cool. That actually reminds me a lot of the game Mouthwashing, of taking responsibility for the things that you know and that you know are not right, regardless of whether what it says about you or what it means for the future. If you're familiar with the game, you know that that takes a bit of a dark direction with that theme, but you know, there's a bit of a parallel there. It says also in this same Low interview, the oldest song on the record is "Are You Listening Yet?" Okay, that was kind of at a time when I was doing shows in New York. I was really so in it and felt kind of thrashy. That song felt like a reaction to that. And I think I like the end refrain of "Are you listening yet?" over and over again. It's like by the time you were listening, it's finished. Yeah, I like that. I was listening pretty early on, so by the time we got to the repeating, I'd been locked in for the whole time, for the whole 3 minutes. But I like that by the end you're sort of like hammering it into the listener, so that if they finally get the bit by the end, then you're out of time. But also, dude says it a lot in this song. So I think if the listener isn't listening till the end, that's on them. That's bad listening skills. Verse 1. God knows your life is on the brink and your therapist's well fed. The fix of all fixes, unintimate sex. You like the way she talks, but never what she says. You've had your tummy tickled. Are you listening yet? Oh boy, we're maybe calling ourselves out, maybe calling someone else out. I don't know. So God knows your life is on the brink and your therapist's well fed. We're having a rough time. We got a lot of issues that we're trying to work through, but maybe aren't. And we're relying on, choice, unintimate encounters with folks to kind of fill that space. You're spending time with people that make you feel good, like give you good sensations, but you don't actually like their company as people. That's the you like the way she talks, but never what she says. You enjoy these people for what they can do for you, but you're not really engaging with them as people. You've had your tummy tickled. Are you listening yet? You've gotten what you wanted. Are you actually gonna start listening to people now? And verse 2, it's like you're taking up arms, but the message is wet. It sounds inviting, but you don't believe in it yet. You keep forgetting your mantra, which thoughts you had on your own, ignoring all your friends at the end of their rope. So you're picking up on something's wrong, but the message is kind of slipping through your fingers. You can't quite pick up on it yet. Sounds inviting, but you don't believe in it yet. You're not really ready to commit to, acknowledging the things that are wrong. Keep forgetting your mantra. You've kind of lost touch with your core beliefs, the core tenets that maybe you do or do not live by. Seems like you don't. Which thoughts you had on your own. Ignoring all your friends at the end of your rope. So yeah, you're sort of losing a sense of who you are, and it means that you're not able to be there for the people in your life. Moving into the chorus, now you're all out of choices. Are you listening yet? Between your head and your heart and somewhere else instead? Oh, can you hear the voice, the one inside your head? Or are you listening yet? Or are you listening yet? Just sort of being all right, you're here at this point where things maybe you've hit a rock bottom. Are you ready to take stock of stuff? Between what you know and what you feel and what's happening directly outside of you. Can you hear the part of yourself that's being we need to do something about it? Are you listening to that part yet? And then verse 3, don't blink or mix the medium. You're smarter than that. This world is screaming, so you start to scream right back. This unpredictable fun is fun if you know how. If you must join a movement, make sure there's dancing. Don't blink or mix the medium. You're smarter than that. Yeah, don't play dumb. Don't act like you didn't quite catch what it was. Or don't try to mix up the words. Don't try to misconstrue things. You're a smart cookie. You know exactly what's going on. The world is screaming, so you start to scream right back. You gotta start taking responsibility as a human being in this world where things are going wrong. This unpredictable fun is fun if you know how. You can have a good time while trying to make change in the world. It's not all scary. If he's talking about social activism and social justice, people often paint it like it's this big, scary, serious thing. But, you can have a great time going to a protest, picketing, or going on or supporting your friends that are going on strike. It's an important thing and it's not to be taken lightly, but that doesn't mean you're not able to have fun with it. Obviously you want to go because you want to do some good, but I don't think there's anything wrong with also selfishly being like, yeah, I'll go there and also try to have a good time, as long as me having a good time doesn't sabotage the cause itself. If you must join a movement, make sure there's dancing. Make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever kind of change you're making, it's fueled by joy and community. That, I love that last line. If you must join a movement, which I think you must. I think we're at a point in the world where if you're not part of a movement to improve the state of the world, like, get on it. Get on it. I think we all have a responsibility as human beings in a world that is experiencing a lot of injustice. If you have the means to make things better, even in small domestic ways, I think you owe it to yourself and the rest of the world to do that. And make sure there's dancing. You're like, have a good time of it. It's possible. It is possible. As someone that's done, at least a bit of it, it's a good time. You make a lot of friends doing that. And that's pretty much it, other than the laws, which I really enjoyed the bridge. Usually I sometimes get on a songwriter about just having a whole section of the song being laws or O's. But considering that was more of just sort of Harry following the guitar solo, it's fine. I'm not going to complain. That was a fun little bit there. I really enjoyed that one as well. We're so far 4 for 4. Haven't been checking out yet. So let's keep moving. Track 5, Taste Back. As in someone has tasted you and you want to taste right back at them? Or are you asking for your taste back? This is a weird combination of words. Now I'm genuinely curious. What's going on here? Okay, sparkly synth. Very sparkly, high synth. Oh. Ooh, okay. Okay. Alright, sort of steady beat. I like the offbeat snare.
Quite here we go again.
Okay.
But how you been?
Okay.
Always been a consequence when you call me baby. You are white, so sweet and sour.
Ooh, there's a lot of percussion stuff going on.
Like old times, dinners with your high school friends and your favorite pastries. Must be lonely out in Paris if you talk like that. It was tough at the time that you called me back. And you know that you can tell me I can take that. Did you get your taste back? You just need a little love. You just need a little love. You
Okay.
just need a little
Alright.
love. You
That's what we're talking about with taste back. Alright.
Did you get your taste back? Do you just need a little love? Did you?
Alright.
Did you?
A little snare bill.
Must be lonely out in
Alright.
Paris if you talk like that. It was tough at the time that you called me back. Did you get your taste back? Do you just need a little love?
Okay. Well, just after I had said that I hadn't checked out yet, that one was fine. I think that's the first one that I've found where I'm not, like, super crazy impressed. It was a very, 3.5 minutes long verse, chorus kind of pop song. I liked the sound on the synths, but it was all pretty samey throughout. So not a bad song, just not gonna be one of my highlights for it, I think. Taste Back explores the complex feelings that arise when a person from the past unexpectedly reappears. The song captures the uncomfortable familiarity of getting back in touch with a former partner, conversations that seem natural but are burdened by unresolved issues. The song expresses the bittersweet pull of difficult past relationships by repeatedly asking if they've got their taste back or simply need a little love, capturing the indecisiveness between nostalgia and the difficulty of leaving the past behind. Gotcha. Suddenly you got someone back in your DMs where you were like, I thought we had just kind of both moved on. You know, maybe there was something back then when we first connected, but things maybe kind of fizzled out. But here you are again. What's going on there? And you do have a choice of whether you're like, hey, what brings you back? You know, like what brings you back that didn't keep you around beforehand? Like, has something changed for you? Have your memories of me changed, that you see me in a different way now? Or are you just looking for some validation or affection from someone that you know was at one point attracted to you? Having that conversation, which is a conversation that I think it serves us to be honest about. I think if we're willing to ask those questions, I don't think you need to be like offended by being asked that question. It's just like, hey, what brings you here? And has anything changed? Like, how do you feel now? And is that any different from how you felt back then? Let's hash it out. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to hash things out. Verse 1. Not quite here we go again, but how have you been? It was a great opening of like, not saying that we're getting back into it, but hi, I'm back. So that's the thing. Always been a consequence when you call me baby. You on white, so sweet and sour, just like old times. Dinners with your high school friends and your favorite pastries. You on white. Is that a chess reference? Oh, this might be a reference to cocaine. Huh. Always been you on white, so sweet and sour, just like old times. I see. So we still have some very specific memories of this person. Some things, like we still remember the appeal of this person. High school friends and favorite, like this is someone that's still friends with their friends from high school. They like pastries, very, very comfy, like homey vibes, but also may or may not have a problem with regards to cocaine. Okay. With that in mind, in the chorus, must be lonely out in Paris if you talk like that. It was tough with the time, but you called me back. And you know that you can tell me, I can take that. Did you get your taste back, or do you just need a little love? If you know that they're in Paris, then maybe they're not having a good time in Paris if you're talking to me over here. Because, if you're having a good time in Paris, then chances are you're focused on whatever's happening in Paris. I've never been to Paris myself. I don't know if I plan on going anytime soon. But from what I've heard about Paris, it could be quite lovely. But if you're distracted by someone else that is not in Paris, that says something. It was tough with the time. I'm assuming the time difference, but you called me back. So there is an intent of like there's a desire for reconnection, and you know that you can tell me I can take that. Did you get your taste back, or do you just need a little love? Okay, yeah. So it is. Harry is basically being like, you can tell me either way. I'm not gonna be offended. Like, have you suddenly come back around on me, or do you like just need sort of like a one-off fling sort of deal? I'm not gonna be offended by your answer either way, but it helps me to know. I think that's a good way to put it. That's a very mature sort of approach to take, I think. Verse 2. Talk in tongues, no common sense, like two old friends. Talk in tongues is a very specific phrase in this context. Where'd you find the confidence to call me baby? Is this you settling in, you drinking again, handling it like a European? This you settling in, you starting again, handling it. So talk in tongues, no common sense, which maybe means that we're letting our impulses get the best of us, but also like two old friends. Like we're getting back into our old patterns that we had when we first knew each other. Where'd you find the confidence to call me baby? So maybe this person has changed a little bit. Maybe they've come into themselves a little bit more. They're feeling themselves a little bit to the point where they can refer to folks a little bit more familiarly than they might have otherwise done before. Is this you settling in, you drinking again, handling it like a European? Suddenly this person can, hold their liquor. Harry's sort of like painting this image of like we're getting back into like our old patterns, but he is accounting for the fact that this person has changed. There's new dimensions to them that he hadn't seen before, but also there's a lot that's familiar about this. And that's sort of it, just painting this picture of like, what brought you back? And also, maybe I am willing to sort of re-meet you. Maybe that's something that we can take this opportunity to do. Might be nice. I like that it just sort of doesn't necessarily resolve. You don't necessarily get an idea of how it goes. You just get the sense of reconnection, and then it sort of zooms out on them sort of learning about each other and also remembering what it used to be like. That's lovely. Let's keep moving. Track 6. The Waiting Game. What are we waiting for? Oh, we got the acoustic one. This is a quiet one, I think. Ooh, beep boops. Beep boops. Okay, a little bit of a... Alright. Theremin style synth. Very cool.
You can romanticize your shortcomings, ignore your agency to stop. Write a ballad with the details, or skimming off the top. A personality, considering you've been a little over honest lately. And you apologize, dirty clown.
That's a phrase. Okay.
You found someone to put your arms around, playing the waiting game.
Okay.
But it
Interesting.
all adds up to nothing. You try, and you always justify playing the waiting game.
Ooh. There's
And
some...
it all adds up to nothing.
There's a little bit of bitterness baked into this one. I'm picking up on Harry's vocals, very sort of nonchalant, very chill, and then the slower tempo just sort of being like, yeah, all right.
Playing the waiting game.
I like that synth part.
Do you tantalize and
What is that?
titillate?
That might have been a
And
guitar.
when it won't make the grade, do you leave it on the table? But it all adds up to nothing. Playing the waiting game. When it all adds up to
Slowing down at the end here.
nothing.
Okay. Nice. Cool. Also one that I don't feel super strongly about, but I like the pacing of it. I like the melody of it. That part was nice. Song reflects the frustration and emptiness that can come from avoiding responsibility in relationships and personal growth. The song critiques the tendency to romanticize errors or cover them up with self-pity and storytelling instead of facing them head-on. He raises the question of whether the other person genuinely means what they say or if they are merely acting out feelings without intention of any true commitment. The phrase playing the waiting game is frequently used to describe passivity, waiting for things to change without taking significant action, which eventually results in a cycle as time passes. Seeing if someone's actually capable of making like real tangible change in their life or if they're just kind of talking about it. I get that, quite frankly. Let's take a look here. Verse 1. You can romanticize your shortcomings, ignore your agency to stop. Write a ballad with the details while skimming off the top. A personality, considering you've been a little over honest lately, and you apologize. A dirty clown. I really like this verse. First off, romanticize your shortcomings, ignore your agency to stop. Just being like, yeah, I guess I'm just kind of a hot mess, but you love me for that, don't you? Maybe not. Maybe I'm aware of the fact that you do in fact have the ability to simply not do the things that you do. Maybe I'm a little too aware of the fact that you do have agency as a person. You press the buttons with your hands. You press the buttons in the controller with your own hands. Or whatever the meme is. Write a ballad with the details while skimming off the top. So you're sort of bemoaning all of these things that are wrong with you while leaving out the fact that you do have a role in that situation. If there are things that that are wrong with you that you can change, maybe you should try changing those things. Maybe that's the route. And he's like, this is basically your personality. You've been a little over honest lately. You're telling me a lot of things about you, and then you apologize, which makes me feel like a clown. If I take the apology, like me taking the apology paints me as someone that believes that you're going to change your behavior. If I accept your apology, that means I believe you. I believe that you feel bad about what you're doing, but not taking the apology makes me feel like an asshole, but it also communicates that I don't actually believe that you're going to improve on yourself. And there's not really any point of apologizing if you don't actually plan on changing your behavior. Then we move into the chorus. You found someone to put your arms around, playing the waiting game. But it all adds up to nothing. You try and you always justify playing the waiting game when it all adds up to nothing. So you've found someone that is willing to be with you with the problems that you have, and now that you have them, you're just sort of waiting out to see if, given enough time, this person maybe just doesn't notice that you're not improving on yourself as a person, that you're not actually growing or working on your flaws as a person. You're just sort of seeing how long you can go in this relationship without actually putting in the work on yourself. Verse 2. Do you tantalize and titillate, knowing it won't make the grade? Do you leave it on the table and you apologize, emotionally dry? And years go by. I like this verse. First off, I love the use of the words tantalize and titillate. Those are both awesome words. Very, very descriptive. I love hearing those words in anything. I just like hearing those words. Knowing it won't make the grade. Are you hinting at maybe getting better, knowing that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an actual change of behavior and like the change in patterns, not just like a hint that you might be getting better. I'm looking for concrete evidence. Do you leave it on the table? Do you posit the idea that you might start working on yourself, and then you apologize, and that apology, according to this verse, doesn't have any actual substance to it, and then you just sort of let the years go by. You assume that the apology was enough for another couple years or so. That sucks to have to deal with that. It's rough to have to deal with someone that doesn't actually seem willing to put in the work to work on themselves. But also, I think sometimes people don't really know how to work on themselves. I think if you don't have an idea of what specific things you need to do to change your behavioral patterns, then it is going to be hard to have an idea of what's that going to look like. Not to give that as an excuse for not changing or improving on yourself, but that's just me empathizing with the fact that it's not just as simple as being like, all right, time to start being better. You have to actually give yourself or figure out an idea of what details go into that. And that's something that you would learn about probably by going to therapy. Let's see what Harry says about this one. That was the first song that I wrote once I had kind of settled in Italy for a while. And I was like right in that zone of reflection and what we're talking about, of the cycle of like behaving the same way, writing songs about it, getting rewarded for that. So you can romanticize your shortcomings, ignore your agency to stop, write a ballad with the details of while skimming off the top. Okay, so this is Harry calling himself out for this. That's cool. That's good. And that was what we had. Had that verse for a while, and I think I just liked being that honest with myself about what I was doing and what I was doing with music and what I was doing with my life and what I was doing with my relationship and what I was doing with like cycles that I'd got into. And you try and you always justify playing the waiting game. You try messing with your own design, playing the waiting game, and it all adds up to nothing. That's a great message. And I'm glad that he sort of recognized that in himself. Hopefully in the time since writing this song, he has, taken the steps to actually make the changes in himself that he wants to. It would be tragically ironic if he had not. Even just making that acknowledgement of yourself that you had that pattern, and then telling yourself that acknowledging it was all the work you needed to do is its own sort of fallacy. So hopefully Harry's working on himself after discovering that about himself. If not, I mean, Harry, if you're watching this, I don't expect you to be, but if you are, get on it. You've inspired me to do the same. I'm going to try and get on it. You better get on it yourself. Let's keep going. We're in the back half now. Track 7, titled Season 2 Weight Loss. I feel like we might get into some vulnerable shit with the phrase weight loss combined with Season 2. So let's see who's doing the Season 2 weight loss. Okay. It's kind of fuzzy synth. The higher pitched one sounds like a mosquito. Ooh. That's an 80s synth if I've ever heard one. Ooh, I like that beat. A little bit of a break beat going on there. Very fun. Back with the pulsing kick.
sometimes.
Oh, okay. Ooh, a little bit of half.
You will love me now.
A little bit of halftime.
Holding out, hoping you will love me now.
Ooh. Again, we're getting a little crispy with the... A little crispy crunchy with the percussion here.
Love will come around.
I love the snare work. This is like a Josh Dunn style beat here. I like it. And a little... I like those little synth hits.
You'll sit yourself down sometime. Holding out, hoping love will come around. Could be you. You want peace.
Interesting. Okay. I like that one. I really enjoyed the drum work in that one. That was a very, like I said, somewhat Josh Dunn beat, but that's also because more originally feels like a very Chemical Brothers beat, which has obviously informed a lot of Josh Dunn's drumming. But we're not here to talk about Josh Dunn in this video, at least. We're here to talk about Season 2 Weight Loss, which is apparently a metaphor for gaining confidence in the public eye. The song is not about actual dieting or physical weight loss. Instead, Harry describes it as the mission statement for the album, exploring themes of personal evolution and returning as a stronger version of himself. The idea is when a show becomes a hit and the cast returns for the second season looking amazing because they now have access to trainers and nutritionists. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, which also tracks considering, he had his whole thing of, being in Germany and taking up long distance running. So like, this album is about the time that Harry has taken to himself of like living in Europe, taking up long distance running. Maybe he has been losing weight, but not just the like physical working out, the mental and emotional work that he's been doing that we've been hearing about as well. I also do like that sort of cheeky reference to the idea of like a season 2 coming back with weight loss because all the actors suddenly have access to trainers and nutritionists. That's a nice acknowledgement of the fact that there is a certain monetary cost to knowing how to gain and or lose weight or get into better shape, that not everyone necessarily has access to at a specific point in your life. So it can be a little noticeable or a little obvious when you suddenly have access to those resources. Verse 1. Aren't you for sale if you're cashing in cold? You've got to sit yourself down sometimes. It's hard to tell when the thoughts are my own and the old hat gets harder to hold. The phrase cashing in cold suggests benefiting from something while feeling emotionally detached from it. It implies gaining something such as attention, approval, or success without genuine connection to it. The line tells us the uneasy feeling of profiting from a version of yourself that doesn't fully feel like you, right? Like, if you're feeling cold about the work that you're putting in, what you're cashing in with, have you sold out? And so maybe that becomes a point of concern for Harry, if he wants to make sure that he's happy and proud of the work that he's done and not just doing music for the paycheck. What a miserable experience making music and not enjoying it. Couldn't be me. I personally deeply enjoy making music. And anyone that says that no one really enjoys the process of making music, I think, personally, is full of shit. Not gonna name any names, though. Chorus. Holding out, hoping you will love me now. Holding out, hoping you will love me now. Do you love me now? Do you? Do I let you down? Holding out, hoping love will come around. Kind of functions like this point of insecurity of like, are they gonna like me now that I'm kind of taking all this time for myself? Because you gotta sit yourself down sometimes. And sometimes people get impatient with you when you take time for yourself. It's really unfortunate when people get impatient with you when you're trying to take care of yourself. It really sucks. And so, yeah, there is this worry, this anxiety while you're holding out, while you're sort of taking your time and not really being out in the world, not really playing music with people or making new things for the world, hoping that you can carry that favor and come back a changed person and still be liked, and hoping love will come around. Verse 2, it's kind of sad, but there's something I know. Too many things for you to analyze. You're steaming in, swinging with your eyes closed. Let light come in once in a while, which is also a reference. I guess Aperture is making a reference to this, since Aperture was the last song to get written. So I guess this line would have been written about letting light in before they had written Aperture, which is all about letting the light in. So nice little thematic thread there. There's just a lot going on, you know? There's more going on than you're gonna have time to break down, and you don't really necessarily need to. So you're steaming in, swinging with your eyes closed. You're having all these opinions about a situation that you don't necessarily understand fully. Maybe let the light in. Let the light in for a while. Maybe just sort of let the world happen, and see what happens. You gotta sit yourself down sometimes. And I think that is sort of a double meaning to it. Harry is sitting himself down, and while he's sitting down, maybe it would help you, maybe it would behoove you to also sit yourself down sometimes, instead of immediately having an opinion about Harry sitting himself down. Then the bridge, you could have been here in my arms, but we're nothing at all. You want a piece or nothing at all? Do you love me now? And then repeating that, you gotta sit yourself down sometimes. So maybe I wonder if he is writing this song sort of to the audience, to the world, to the outside world. Because he is, in a genre like pop music is a genre that's going to be listened to by a very, very wide demographic of folks. He's just sort of being like, to the general public, we don't know each other. You could have been here and, stuck with me and sort of supported me through this time, but we don't know each other. You either want this very specific curated piece of me being his music, or you don't want anything at all. You don't want me to tell you all the nitty-gritty details of my life. You don't want to know the stuff that I'm going through. You just want it in this, sort of put together ballad or catchy song with a nice synth line so that you can feel like you know me. And then being like, well, if I'm not going to give you nothing or just a piece, how do you like me in those conditions? Does that change things? Maybe you gotta sit yourself down. I love it when artists take time for themselves, and also in doing so take time to refresh and reestablish their relationship with their audience. I think that's a very, very important and necessary thing to do when you're someone that is as public a figure or is in as much of the public eye as Harry is. So Good for you, Harry. Hoping you got the time that you needed. Carry on to track 8. Coming Up Roses. Apparently, something might be coming up roses. I don't know if everything's coming up roses, but maybe some things are coming up roses. Ooh. Oh, the orchestra is warming up. Okay.
Tell me your fears.
Okay.
Turn back the clocks, it's that time
quiet
of year.
piano.
If we stay the course, we could get it right.
Ooh.
But I'm not devoid of an
I'm ready for the strings.
appetite. And everything seems to be coming.
And you just know that Harry's got the budget to just hire, a whole freaking symphonic orchestra. He's able to make that happen. He doesn't need to worry about, strings on the synthesizer. He can get the real thing, no problem.
Just for tonight, let's go hangover chasing. And I'll talk your ear off about why it's safe as I fumble my words and
There's a
fall
little bit of
flat on my
crunchiness here.
face through the truth.
It's a little bit messy. Okay, not a full orchestra.
Just say the word and
violin,
we'll take up the test
vibraphone,
where
and
we
marimba.
flirt with the bad
Lovely.
ones and skip all the
And
rest.
clarinet.
But we see out the night with
And
your
a
head
cello.
on
Oh,
my
wait, no, there
chest,
is...
me and
No, this is a
you.
full orchestra. Okay, good.
There's only me and you.
Ooh.
I see
Hello.
your tears.
Hello, cello.
Counting my wants and now
Cello
it
there.
appears that I'm feeling guilty and worried, dear. That you think that I might
Okay.
not want you here. Does all of this
All right.
seem to be bringing us closer?
Pasting ourselves out here.
Backseat in your life, judging while you drive.
I don't know if it's something about my headphones or if it's the way it's mixed or recorded, but I'm getting a little bit of blown out speaker feel from this. I hope it's not my headphones.
We see out the night with your head on my chest, me and you.
I can tell melody-wise we're building.
There's only me and you.
Ooh. Oh, this sounds lovely. Oh. That top line, very nice. Oh. Oh. Yeah, see a little bit of that crunch in there.
La 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 la.
Lovely. Was scrolling through the musician credits and I was like, oh, no, getting to the masters and then, oh, there was a clarinet. Oh, there's an English horn in here. Oh, there's a flute. Oh, there's a handful of cellists. There's a bunch of violists. Oh my goodness, look at all the violinists. Recorded at Abbey Road Studios. Whoa. The song reflects the vulnerability and uncertainty that come with trying to repair or strengthen a relationship while grappling with one's own desires and fears. Throughout the lyrics, Harry acknowledges his flaws and contradictory emotions, recognizing that his wants may at times hurt the person he loves. A tension between hope and doubt runs through the song as he questions whether they are truly compatible while still longing for closeness, reassurance, and connection. Okay, ooh, we're getting into some complicated shit. Verse 1. Tell me your fears. I've turned back the clocks. It's that time of year. Daylight savings, I'm assuming. If we stay the course, we could get it right. But I'm not devoid of an appetite. And everything seems to be coming up roses. But I'm scared if we're both right, does that mean we're not aligned? And in the chorus, just for tonight, let's go hangover chasing. I'll talk your ear off about why it's safe, as I fumble my words and fall flat on my face through the truth. Just say the word, and we'll take up the test, where we flirt with the bad ones and skip all the rest. But we see out the night with your head on my chest, me and you, there's only me and you. It seems like there's more anxiety than there are problems. Like tangible problems, I should say. There's more internal conflict than there is external, from what I can tell at least. If we stay the course, we could get it right. You know, as long as we're doing what we've been doing, we'll be fine. But Harry, in I'm not devoid of an appetite, is noting some things where there are some things maybe that he's not getting out of this relationship that he maybe needs or feels like he might need. And everything's going really well, though. So externally, everything seems really good, but Harry doesn't feel satisfied with some things because it seems like everything is fine. Does that mean that they haven't sat down to like get into the deep stuff? Because everything seems fine, it's because they haven't looked for what's wrong. You know? They haven't looked for problems, so it doesn't seem like there are any, which I totally get. At a certain point, it is good to check in with the other person and see how they feel about things and, you know, make sure that they're able to respond honestly so that if there are problems, then those can be aired out. But also, I think you gotta trust any other person that if they don't feel like there's any problems, it's also a little bit on them to bring up problems if they're there. Just because you feel like there might be problems doesn't mean that there are problems, and you're not the only person in the relationship capable of bringing up whatever problems there may or may not be. Just for tonight, let's go hangover chasing. So yeah, chorus is like, just for tonight, which is such a classic pop trope of like, let's not worry about what might be going on. Let's worry about going out tonight. You know, all we have is tonight. Whatever happens is tonight, or we're on the dance floor tonight. This particular evening, we're getting drunk tonight. It is Harry trying to distract himself from his own like anxiety and sense of something being wrong. And maybe they take up the test where we flirt with the bad ones and skip all the rest. Styles anticipates his partner asking to explore openness in their newfound or renewed relationship, where taking the test would involve flirting with others, the bad ones, to see if they could still repossess their intimacy afterwards. So Harry is just like, hey, if you want, we can see if we've sort of still respectively got it, where we flirt with other people, find out who would be willing to have an affair with us individually, just to see if by the end of the night we still feel drawn to each other and we still want to end up with each other at the end, you know? Find out if we have options, and then knowing that we have options, find out if we still prefer the person that we're already with. That's an interesting test. If there's no like insecurity tied in that, if you're willing for the answer to be, you know, one that you maybe aren't hoping it to be, I don't see anything necessarily wrong with that. If they're able to set like ground rules and expectations and like contingency plans and know how we're gonna feel if things go one way or the other, I don't see anything particularly wrong with that test. Moving into verse 2. Now I see your tears on account of my wants, and now it appears that I'm feeling guilty and worried, dear, that you think I might not want you here. Does all of this seem to be bringing us closer, or am I backseating your life, judging while you drive? That's a great question to ask. It's him literally being like, well, I think you're living your life, so if you've got a problem, then it's entirely within your ability and your right to bring it up yourself. I'm just feeling guilty and worried. And I shouldn't project that insecurity onto you. You know, I don't want to make that insecurity your problem. I'm feeling guilty that you think that I might not want you here is crazy. I think it's good to acknowledge that. I think it's good on your own end to acknowledge that you feel that way. I don't think it's on the other person to do anything about it necessarily, other than hold this speaker accountable for that. I don't think there's any harm in acknowledging that. And I like that the feeling of this song is very tender, like that you've got this swelling, like orchestral setting to it. So it's very romantic, very tender, it feels a very loving song. Like there is love there, but there's also that insecurity and that anxiety and that worry that is going to do damage if you don't acknowledge it. You only necessarily need to take it so seriously, but I think there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that it's there. Let's see what Harry thinks about Coming Up Roses. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. Wow, that was pretty good. The kind of writing of it was really something that just happened. Like that was one of those that felt like it just fell out, you know? And then you're reading the lyrics back and I'm like learning something as I'm doing it. I'm like, oh, I'm discovering this thing. And actually I wrote in December and I started because I was trying to write a Christmas song. So that last 2 lines, but it was tell me your fears, I've turned back the clocks, it's that time of year. Okay, so yes, the later end of daylight savings, I think I was just trying to do something different. Maybe taste. Maybe it's about taste. That's really funny that this was originally going to be a Christmas song, which then also explains why it's got this sort of cozy sort of feel to it, despite that it's about, you know, testing your relationship in clubs and, you know, airing out insecurities. I really like that. That makes it a very unique song. Moving into track 9, Pop. Pop. It's just pop. I assume he's not referring to the Canadian slang term for soda. I'm assuming he's not talking about a soft drink. He might just be talking about pop music. Let's see what he's got to say about pop. Ooh. Alright. Alright. Ooh. Little swung.
Daytime.
Alright. Ooh, I'm a sucker for a swing. Ooh. Another steady bass line.
Try, but you can tame them. It's meant to be pop.
Okay. Oh. Alright. Okay. Cool. I like that guitar. Oh. Okay. A little bit of a break there. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that bass.
First time tasting
Oh.
it's nice to mix 2 flavors.
The bass tones that Harry's band or like musicians, I don't know if Harry himself plays bass, but the bass in this album has been absolutely one of the highlights of the album. And I do think, you know, an album with the word disco in the title, you better have some good bass parts. And it's not just the bass parts. And this is me being someone that is not really in the know about like technical production elements, as you probably can tell from the way that I talk about music and react to how things sound. But like the feel of it, like there's been so much like fuzz and texture to this bass, to these bass parts, and it would be so easy for so many of these parts to just be like a clean bass sound, and it's been more than half very much not clean bass, and I appreciate that so much. Just shows the level of like craftsmanship and attention to detail that Harry's able to put into his music. Okay, ooh, a little solo. I like that. I like that. Cool. Oh, that bass is filthy. That was nasty. I was not expecting that at all. Whatever you were doing to that synth, ooh, that was weird and I loved it. That was gosh dang bizarre. Do it again, Harry. Oh, wonderful. That's definitely a favorite on here. That was great. That was so much fun. Let's see here. The song centers on spending time with someone special and repeatedly choosing to return to them. Song works on 3 levels at once. It uses the idea of drug addiction, to describe a messy and tense relationship, while also poking fun at the perfect image expected of pop stars. By mixing lines about being meant to be pop, with much darker suggestive references to hard drugs and being on his knees, he shows the massive gap between his polite public persona and his real, more rebellious life. Interesting. Okay, we're making a little bit of meta commentary here. A little bit of genre commentary. I like that. Let's just see what we got here. Daytime mainlining. Gotcha. No more rolling papers. Catching stray dogs, try but you can't tame them. It's just me, on my knees, squeaky clean fantasy. It's meant to be pop. Right, yes. Mainlining, known to be to inject a narcotic, especially heroin, directly into a vein. Right. I had a feeling that mainlining was some sort of like injection drug reference. But since I'm just such a good sheltered boy, I needed to check what that meant. I know rolling papers. I know that one. I live in Vancouver. I know all about the rolling papers. Catching stray dogs, try, but you can't tame them. So he's in an area where he's, hanging out with stray dogs, but also referring to himself as a stray dog, someone that can't be tamed. It's just me on my knees. He's the dog. Squeaky clean fantasy. It's meant to be pop. So he was like, all this stuff that I'm talking about, all these experiences that I'm having that in the actual moment are not clean at all, and that many, pop listeners would probably not touch with the 10-foot pole. Those are the things that are going into his pop music that, then are being enjoyed widely by folks that listen to his music. Moving into the chorus. Am I in over my head? This could go anywhere. I do it and do it again. It's meant to be pop. I don't know how it'll end. This could go anywhere. I pull at the thread. It's making me pop. I want it to behave, but I know I'll do it again. I know I'll do it again. It's making me pop. So now it's Harry being like, what are we doing? What's going on? I'm getting myself into a lot of risky situations. This could go anywhere, but I keep doing it. I keep getting into these situations, and I don't really know how it's going to end. I don't really know where things are going to go. They might go badly. But I keep going. I keep pulling and pulling at the thread. I keep pulling and taking these risks and wearing myself down because it's making me feel something. It's making me pop. Well, I know that I probably shouldn't be doing these things. I'm not being a very good role model. But I know it feels good, so I'm probably going to do it again because it makes me pop. Verse 2. Katie's waiting to be your game day savior. First time tasting it, it's nice to mix two flavors together. It's just me on my knees. Pop. What's this about Katie? Oh, could refer to ketamine. Gotcha. Okay. First time ketamine, I guess. Nice to mix two flavors. Harry, you gotta be careful about mixing stuff. Maybe mixing it as in like, okay, together. So maybe we're having sex while on ketamine. Be careful out there, Harry. Take care of yourself. But also, I'm not your dad. You're an adult. You're my age or around it. So, enjoy your 30s, I guess. Is Harry being like, I'm living this life that a lot of people don't really know about, save for the details that I'm putting into this music, but the way that you're interacting with his life in his music is very produced, very highly produced, He's got a lot of production value in his music. There's a lot of effects and shiny synthesizers and funky bass lines to kind of distract you from it's sex and drugs. Dudes living the same rock and roll lifestyle that musicians have been hooked on for decades. He is certainly not immune to the appeal of that. And I get it. I hope for his own sake and for his own health that he learns and holds to his limits. And that's pretty much it. That's all I really have the right to say about him. I hope he's taking care of himself. I think, what does it mean to be making pop music? And I think just reshuffling a bit and kind of redefining it for myself. I think making pop music, I love pop music. And I think with this album, they're inherently pop songs. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So far, at least. I think it can feel like, I make pop music and therefore I have to make this. And I think a lot of this album was exploring what I could make, feeling like what I'm supposed to be doing is pop. I'm meant to be pop. It's supposed to be pop. And I think it's playing with that. It's a very playful thing, pop music. So I think being able to move within it was something that I wanted to explore, and that made the process of making the album really exciting for me. I love that approach. I think the best pop is made when you are not when you are allowing it to not necessarily be just pop. If you are making pop music, but you are pulling from other genres into pop, that's awesome. Because I think when you have pop in its purest form, it can be very bland. Because pop literally just means popular. It's become defined by certain sounds and certain instruments and certain production feels. But pop emerged as literally whatever popular music was coming out. A lot of the time, the earliest pop music was coming from musicals. So like a lot of musical theater tunes were considered pop at the time. A lot of jazz was considered pop at one time or another. And so to sort of continue that tradition of being like, it's a pop album, but that doesn't mean it's just pop music. Like disco could be considered a form of pop, despite that it's often been, classified as like R&B, because disco isn't originally a genre, pioneered by African American musicians. And so even that is, disco is pop with pieces of other genres brought into it, or pop is itself with elements of disco and other genres pulling into it. I think that is how you get the best pop music, is by letting it not necessarily just be pop. Let it be rock, or let it be funk. Hyperpop is its own commentary on what happens when you purify pop itself down to its barest, almost parodying elements. To the point where it just sort of sounds like EDM, which maybe EDM is the natural conclusion of modern pop music. I think we often hold pop as like, this is what pop has to sound like. And I think the only reason pop sounds like the way we expect it to is because it's a mixture of everything else. And I think that the versatility of pop and the wide appreciation and enjoyment of pop is in the fact that pop is inherently made up of every other genre. Let's keep moving to track 10. Dance No More. We're done dancing? I thought, but it's disco occasionally. I guess we're pretty late in the album, so maybe there's no more dancing after this one. Sorry guys, no more dancing after this song. I don't make the rules. That's Harry's call. So after this one, we're dancing no more. Oh. Another filthy bass line, of course it is. Ooh.
I don't think we should be here. I see no water reference. But the music keeps hitting me like a 10 out of 10. So I don't think. No, I don't think.
Ooh, what is that?
Conversation is here and you get it all off your chest.
Okay.
You can come over here to tell me again and again. What you think? No, I don't think.
Never heard that vocal effect from Harry. Okay.
Side to side with your hands up high, keep your customer satisfied and live your life. DJs don't dance no more.
Oh, do they not? Okay. Ah, yes.
We wanna dance with all our friends.
We found more disco.
Feeling like the music has been heaven sent. There's no difference in
this bass
between
line.
the tears and the sweat. DJs don't dance no more, they said.
Oh, there's a little bit of vocals mixed in there. I like that. That's charming. Ooh, we're tickling a little bit. Ooh. Okay. Fox? Who's Fox?
DJs don't dance no more, they said. DJs don't dance no more, they said.
Respect your mother. What a respectful line to end that song on. My goodness. Well, that was fun. That was some good old disco from our boy Harry right there. Let's see what we got to say about it. At its core, the song explores the tension between participating in life and performing for others. It suggests that the person who creates experiences for others, such as a DJ, can sometimes lead to feeling disconnected from those experiences yourself. Throughout the song, the narrator appears to step outside the role of performer and instead join in. Appears to long to, as in long being like the verb, to want to step outside the role of performer and instead join in fully, dancing alongside everyone else rather than standing apart from them. Ah, yes, wanting to be at the concert, but you are the one on stage. I remember going out kind of the first time in Berlin and like standing in the middle of the dance floor and feeling so unbelievably free and safe that I just kind of had my hands in the air and my eyes closed, and I just felt these tears like streaming down my face. And it was this moment of like, oh, I feel so alive right now. And another reference to Simon and Garfunkel was I'd heard about You Can Call Me Al, bass fill, and heard that it was his bass player's birthday, and he was like, you can have 16 or whatever. So Yapra, who plays keys with me, doing a great job on this one. I was like, just have this section and do whatever if you want. And that's how we got it. And then right before that, we take in this piece. It says, be a good girl, go get it. And at the end of that phrase, I just go Fox, which is Tom's son's name, Tom being his producer, also known as Kid Harpoon, who's always been jealous that I put his mom, Jenny, in Canyon Moon. Oh, I didn't know that. I love Canyon Moon is one of my favorite songs by Harry Styles. And he was playing football. We were FaceTiming him, and he was like, if I hit the crossbar, will you put my name in a song? And I was like, I'll give you 3 tries. And he hit the crossbar, so then I was like, all right, now we've got to put Fox on a song. So like across the board with Dance No More, it's like the freest and most fun I think we've had in the studio. It was like anytime it was getting a bit heavy, it was like, let's listen to that. That's awesome. I love having a song on the album that's like an internal mood lifter. Like if sort of the morale in the studio is getting a little low, then you have something that you've made yourself to kind of get yourself, ironically, out of the funk, despite it being a very funky song. Verse, I don't think we should be here. I see no water or friends, but the music keeps hitting me like a 10 out of 10. So I don't think, got something to say in the bass voice. No, I don't think, got something to say. Conversation is hearing you get it all off your chest. You can come over here to tell me again and again what you think. I've got something to say. No, I don't think. Harry being sort of finding himself in the space where he gets to be just an audience member, be amongst the people. It's like, I don't see any of my friends or water, so I guess I'm staying drunk. But the music keeps hitting, so he's just enjoying himself. So he's like, I don't think I have anything to say. I don't think I need to contribute anything to this situation, despite the fact that I usually am sort of the one bringing the entertainment. Conversation is just hearing you get it all off your chest. You can come over here to tell me again and again what you think. So Harry just being like, man, I just want to listen to someone else do stuff well for a bit. I don't want to have to be the one on stage performing for everyone else. I don't want the pressure to be on me sometimes. Pre-chorus being move it side to side with your hands up high, keep your customer satisfied, and live your life. So sometimes part of being a performer is also living in the audience's shoes and being with the people. You gotta know what it's like in the audience to know what makes people have a good time. The chorus being, DJs don't dance no more, they said. DJs don't dance no more. We want to dance with all our friends. DJs don't dance no more is feeling like the music has been heaven sent and that there's no difference between the tears and the sweat. DJs don't dance no more, they said, and then that repeats. With the bridge being, get your feet wet. Teach them all to respect their mother. You gotta get your feet wet, respect your mother, be a good girl, go get it, Fox. Get your feet wet. Get yourself, out into the world. Experience the world yourself. Don't be the one that has to always be providing experiences for other people. Go out and get those experiences yourself. Sometimes you gotta sit yourself down. You got that theme all the way through the album of being like, take some time for yourself to be a person in the world. Let other people be the performers for a bit. It's fine. That's pretty much that for that one. I get a sense this was, there's a subject for Harry to write around and have like, a theme to the song. But I think this was more about, having something to write the words about, but then building those words also around just letting this be a fun song to play and listen to. Let's keep moving. Track 11, Paint by Numbers. I've not done a Paint by Numbers in a very long time, but I used to be all about that shit. Let's see how Harry feels about painting by numbers. Acoustic guitar. You got a quiet one. This is also the shortest track on the album.
Oh, what a gift it is to be noticed, but it's nothing to do with me. You've got to wonder if there's a reason to believe it's a lifetime of learning to paint by numbers and watching the colors run.
Ooh, I like the delayed guitar over there.
It's a little bit complicated.
We're getting back into the 70s pop rock inspiration.
You're the luckiest, or the irony holding the weight of the
Ooh, that's a nice clean bass right there.
Whose hearts you break, watching the colors run.
Ooh, nice little trumpet solo. That's lovely. Oh, yeah, that's short and sweet. Packed a lot of sentiment into there. I love that. Paint by Numbers was kind of originally track 1, I think, where the record started. I was just married to the idea of coming off the last record and coming back, and the first thing I say being, oh, what a gift it is to be an artist, but it's nothing to do with me. I think it felt like a pillar of something. I think for me, some of my favorite moments of artists that I love is when I feel like I'm listening to them discover themselves. Yeah! It's when you have a song where you can tell that it's about the artist being like, hey, I realize I've gotten it pretty good. I've ended up in a pretty nice situation for myself, pretty nice life. Very lucky to be able to make music for a living and have that pay the bills and then some. But also, it's not about me. It's not about me doing it to make myself seem like a cool person. I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it, and because there's something about music that has become a key and extremely significant piece of the human experience, and that Harry gets to participate in that. And I think that's pretty special for anyone that wants to make music. Whether you want to make it a career or not, if you want to learn an instrument, do it. It's a very, very worthwhile endeavor. You're going to be bad at it, for the first little bit. Very, very few people are good at it right away. And I don't think that those people existing should deter you from trying your best. What Harry has to say is, oh, what a gift it is to be noticed. But it's nothing to do with me. You've got to wonder if there's a reason to believe. Yeah, he's like, what a gift it is to have the life that I live. But also, it's not about me. You have to figure out, what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what you're doing it for. Moving into chorus, it's a lifetime of learning to paint by numbers and watching the colors run. It's a lifetime of being taught to fit into these specific boxes and being perceived in a certain way and letting that just wash off. The analogy of painting by numbers and letting the colors run also works really nicely as an artist, because a lot of not just becoming a music, but becoming a musical artist is learning whatever theory, not necessarily like your sort of, 18th century European music theory, but learning some theories and tricks and exercises and techniques from wherever you find them that help you find your way to expressing yourself in the truest possible way. It's about learning what colors work in what spots and learning what numbers might mean what colors. And once you have learned that, that's when you can start painting whatever the hell you want, letting those colors run in a way that means the most to you. I don't think it necessarily specifically means that in the chorus, but I think there is that possible second meaning to it that I think is also very important to hear. Verse 2. It's a little bit complicated. When they put an image in your head, now you're stuck with it. You're the luckiest. Oh, the irony. Holding the weight of the American children whose hearts you break. Was it a tragedy when you told her, I'm not even 33? A little self-compassion and a life within your means. Yeah, so Harry's really taking stock of his own stuff. They put an image in your head, now you're stuck with it. They've got their own idea of what you're like, and now you have to deal with this image of you that they've concocted all by themselves, or maybe not entirely all by themselves, but it's this version of you that you have no control over them perceiving you as. And then they're like, oh, you're the luckiest to be perceived by so many people, to suddenly hold the weight of the American children that you're making them sad with your music. Oh, what an opportunity to have, the whole world listening to you. And you're like, I'm not even 33. I'm still figuring shit out on my own. And to have the world listen to you in the process of that. And so, yeah, a little self-compassion and a life within your means. Like, know what you can control and what you can, and just sort of living life within those expectations, those healthy expectations of yourself. Then the bridge, it's a lifetime of picking from one or the other. Kids with water guns, watch them run. So either you can identify with the kid with the water gun and acknowledge that maybe Harry acknowledged that he himself still a relatively young guy, and having to watch those kids run, and also realizing that he's lived some life at this point. He is in his 30s. He's been around for a little bit. And it's a lifetime of letting yourself be a kid and also looking back on the world around you and seeing and taking stock of what you have already learned. That's beautiful. I love that he just wrote this 2.5 minute song, just sort of taking stock of where he stands with himself and his career. I like that it was a nice little break, a little down-tempo deal before we get into the final track here, which we are going to move into, which is Carla's song. I don't know who Carla is, but if you're Carla, if you're watching this and your name is Carla, this may or may not be for you. Okay. I think there might be something wrong with my headphones because I don't know if all these bass lines are supposed to be this fuzzy. Let me know if it sounds similar to you, because maybe my headphones have run their course. Bridge leading to troubled waters.
Then you know. If you don't, then you don't. It's heavenly.
Okay, there is a little bit of crispiness to that bass that I don't think is from my headphones, but it's hard to tell.
Through your eyes and all melodies like the tide.
Ooh, hello, synth.
It's all waiting there for you.
Alright, just keeping it steady on the hi-hat.
It's
Nice.
all waiting there for you.
Hello, snare. Ooh, I like the shaker in there. Okay.
You've been a baby sleeping upon a candy.
Ooh, I like that guitar part. Ooh. Oh, that's a lovely feel to it. No, wait. No, bring it back. Bring back that guitar part. I like that. Okay. Okay. Alright, we're getting into a nice little shuffle with the hi-hat. Or maybe that's a tambourine. That might just be a tambourine. Ooh, we're going full. Ooh, drums are going big. Nice. Ooh, I like those fills. And then tight back up. Very nice. Lovely. Okay. Interesting way to end the album. Not sure if it felt necessarily like a finale, but I enjoyed it. The song celebrates the joy of discovery and the beauty of experiencing life almost as an encouragement to wake up to the world around you, which is, again, a running theme through this album. Its lyrics portray a journey from innocence to experience, from ignorance to heightened awareness of the world and its possibilities. Carla is one of Harry's close friends in real life, apparently. Okay. The song was inspired by a moment they shared while waiting at a friend's house before heading to an after party. During the conversation, Carla mentioned that she had recently discovered Paul Simon. Intrigued, Harry decided to play her music by Simon and Garfunkel, including Bridge Over Troubled Water and Kathy's Song, the latter being one of his favorite songs. Watching her hear the music for the first time deeply moved him. He described the moment as like watching someone discover magic. Seeing someone experience a beloved song for the first time reminded Harry of the emotional power music can have and why he fell in love with making music in the first place. Carla and that moment of discovery became one of the most important inspirations behind the album. Interesting. Okay, so we're ending the album with that moment of initial inspiration. That's cool. Ending with the beginning. That's very, very neat. Let's take a look here. Okay, verse 1, there is a bridge that leads to troubled waters. Immediate reference. If you know, then you know. Exactly. If you don't, then you know, then you don't. That's heavenly. From your head to your toes, saw the light and the gold that you discovered through your eyes in awe. Melodies like the tide. Okay, I love that line. If you don't, then you don't. That's heavenly. Like talking about music and being like, have you heard this artist? And then they say no. And then you're like, oh, you get to hear this. You get to experience this for the first time, just like I did. I remember when I recorded my first reaction to Sleep Token that was recommended to me by my friend. And I remember them saying, like, it was so cool to watch you experience this music for the first time and like fall in love with this band. And they are one of my favorite bands now. And so that feeling of like getting excited because someone hasn't discovered certain like music that maybe you have a pretty good sense that they're gonna enjoy. I love that. I never understood this thing of like, have you ever heard of this? No? You've never heard of it? How could you? Like, why is that your response to someone not knowing about something that you like? Instead of being angry or like shocked, skip that step. Just skip that step entirely so that you can be like, oh, hell yeah. You've never heard of this? Awesome. I get to show it to you. Rather than just being like baffled by the fact that someone didn't know about something. There's so many artists and bands in the world right now. It's so easy to not listen to music. It's so easy to not know about so many artists. It's so silly to react to someone not knowing about something with surprise. Like, there's so much stuff to not know about. So I like that Harry has written that in of like, if you don't know it, then you don't know it. And that's awesome. That means I have the opportunity to show it to you, and I get to enjoy this moment of you discovering a new favorite group. It's great. Chorus being, it's all waiting there for you. Can you hear that voice delivering the news? It's all waiting there for you. There's a whole world of music that you have simply not heard yet that might be your new favorite music. And that's so exciting. That is something that really does like perpetuate my sense of like wonder and curiosity, and is also a part of why I enjoy making these videos. Is I like, recording myself discover music that I didn't know I'd enjoy. Like this album, I wasn't sure how I'd feel about this album. I've loved it to bits. Maybe not the entire time, but for the most part, big fan. I'll get into that in a moment. Verse 2. Ignorance or innocence, call it what you wanna. You've been a baby sleeping upon a candy bar till your eyes open on the changing summer light. That's a lovely image of, it doesn't matter if you've been ignorant of this music or just innocent, or you just, innocently didn't know about it, never came across it. Doesn't matter what it is, you have been sleeping on something awesome. And now you get to be awoken to it, like a baby opening their eyes to the summer light. Lovely metaphor for discovering a new beautiful thing in the world. And the post-chorus is, I know what you like, I know what you'll really like. You can hear it anytime, I don't have to read your mind. And then interspersed with, it's all waiting there for you. Just this condensed sense of like, I know you well enough that I can recommend you new things and have a sense that you're going to enjoy it. And I get to revel in that opportunity to bring you a new joyful experience. That's great. And I think that is a great reason to be a musician. If you know that people like your stuff, you get to keep making that stuff for people. Isn't that great? You get to make new stuff that people are gonna enjoy. Maybe not always that's the same people enjoying it, but you get to keep making stuff that someone's gonna enjoy. And that's awesome. That's a beautiful piece of the human experience that we have access to. And with that is Kiss all the time, disco occasionally. There was a good few disco occasions on this album, which I appreciated. I don't know if I picked up on the kissing all the time. I don't know if there was necessarily kissing all the time, but I'm not gonna be grumpy about that. I think the kisses are there for those with eyes to see. And maybe if I looked back on it, I would find kisses all the time. I do think I greatly enjoyed this album. This has actually given me an excuse to perhaps go back and listen to Harry's House, but it has reminded me of what I enjoy about Harry Styles as an artist. I love his willingness to experiment with different sounds, his willingness to experiment with genre. I think he's doing pop music a good service by being around. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed the music. Hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts and reactions to it. If you have your own thoughts on the lyrics or the sort of musical elements of this album, please let me know in the comments. If you also have suggestions for other albums for me to listen to, maybe you want to show me the baby sleeping. Maybe I'm the baby sleeping on a candy bar, and maybe you want to open my eyes to the changing summer light. If you want that opportunity, let me know your album suggestions in the comments. If you have not subscribed, now is a good time to do that. It helps me out quite a bit. Appreciate it. I do a lot of gaming on this channel. I also do these every now and then. These are a lot of work to do, so I don't do them all the time. But I will be doing them every now and then. I try to do one of these at least once a month. If you like my funny words, then I'm the same guy in the gaming videos and everything else that I do. So otherwise, if you want to support the channel in a monetary fashion, I do have a fourth wall. I have recently learned that I gotta do a little bit of upkeep on it, but I do want to retroactively thank someone. Thank you to Sierra and the Storm for joining and becoming a member in June. I did not catch it at the time. For whatever reason, Fourth Wall doesn't send me notifications for when people do join. But I wanted to, retroactively say, if you're watching this, Sierra and the Storm, thank you so much for joining. If you've got feedback on your experience as a Fourth Wall member, I would love to hear your thoughts. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later.